Here is onions that I planted about a month ago. And they're doing just great. There's about 600 onions here. Because there's 15 per foot on one strip. And there's a double strip of my grid work here. And they're about 30-foot rows. So, approximately. But they're doing just wonderful. They're happy, they're growing, and they've been through 2 snows and hard freezes since I planted them. So they frowned at me and wanted me to knit them little sweaters, but I told them I didn't have them in it. So this is what I do. Hello. This is Garden Granny again, and I'm out in this wonderful weather, and I'm going to show you how to make the things I attach my paper grids to the ground with so they don't blow away. It's easier for me to take small bolt cutters. I cut the clothes hangers, I cut the hanger part off at a little bit of an angle so that it's got a sharp point, so it pokes through the newspapers better. And I get a thing like that. Then I bend it out. Gotta find my pliers. The pockets. And I straighten it out. Sometimes it's a tussle. Clothes hangers can be just real stubborn. They don't want to be straightened out very much. But be careful of the real sharp point. It can jab you. Try to get them as straight as possible. Take the long one and I kind of bend it in a little bit so I know about where the half is. Cut it in an angle. Straighten that little curve. See the curve? Straighten that out. And I bend it a little again so I have another one. Okay, you got your wires all about the right space. And what I do is I bend a little bit down on one end. And with this, I don't have to make this as wide as the grid, because I've got a wide grid for peppers, and I will show you that. And then there's your 7, and it's just pretty slick. Now here's the grid. This is for peppers that I'm going to plant in. But I took newspapers, folded them. Well, they're just half newspaper here and a half newspaper doubled over here. And I stapled, and I had to use a little Elmer's glue to keep some of the stuff down that I couldn't reach with the staples so it wouldn't flop around. And I've got them about every 2 foot apart. And I'm going to roll that out on the ground. And then here I will poke in to hold it on the ground. One of these 7s, if I can hit a hole. But anyway, it'll poke through there and into the ground, and I put one on each end, and that about every 2 feet. That'll hold it in place. Okay, here we are at my onion patch. Here's my grid work I use to plant my onions. This is what I do in the winter months. I set and staple and fold newspapers together, kind of like the old sock pot holders on the loom. roll it out, and I've measured a little ways away from my potato patch. Then you put your number 7 wire here to hold the ends down. Otherwise, in breezy weather, you'd be chasing your grid. But I roll it out, and notice I put soaker hoses down, and I measured and put them so they land here, here, and here. And I put these 7s about every 2 feet to hold the papers down. Hi, here I am. Remember my planting of onions, the film I did on planting onions. This is an onion grid that I planted about 2 weeks before my film. I planted them in another area. So this grid was planted about Easter. And I've had to weed it once. There's a few little I got clover coming up through the holes. I might have to pull a couple of them. But I haven't had to water. Watering has been good. But this shows you just how the weeds are. I go through, pull 1 or 2 or 3. There's just, it's keeping them nice. I will zoom in and show. Just looks real dense and nice, and the onions are developing nice. And then this will show you this area of the garden. I tilled up once after I planted the onions. Look at the weeds. I need to go through and get it ready to plant something. So, you know, that's what my onions could look like. But due to the nice papers that are strangling out them multitude of weeds, they're behaving themselves. They're not liking it. Thank you, and this is Garden Granny. It's getting dark.